September 11th will always be a day of national tragedy for the United States. In Spain today, March 11th, now has similar infamy. In Madrid this morning, more than 190 people were killed and more than 1,400 injured when 10 separate bombs ripped through commuter trains and railway platforms during rush hour. The scene was horrific. Bodies and body parts everywhere. The Spanish Prime Minister called it simply mass murder. Who was responsible? It could be Spanish terrorists. It could be Islamic terrorists. It could be both. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, the attack itself, and ABC's Charles Glass in Madrid.
The blast that ripped through Madrid's early morning commuter train sent blood and metal flying. Ambulances rushed more than 1,000 wounded to city hospitals, and the government set up centers for people to identify the bodies of missing loved ones. This young woman says she was just behind one of the cars when it exploded. Everyone started running and they were covered in blood, she says. It was horrendous. And this man saw bodies scattered everywhere. He says some were burning and screaming. Dazed survivors wandered along the tracks, and police rushed to a scene of horror with trains torn to pieces and parts of human bodies in crushed train cars. The timing, when most people were on their way into work, appeared designed to cause the maximum number of civilian casualties. All the explosives went off in backpacks on the same commuter line into Madrid. 7:30 this morning, the first 3 explosions erupt inside a crowded train pulling into the central Atocha station. 7:44, 4 more bombs tear through the next train before it reaches the same station. 5 minutes later, another commuter train explodes at a suburban stop 9 miles down the line. And 7:54, at a station 6 miles from the Atocha station, the last 2 bombs explode on a double-decker commuter train. An hour later, police find 2 more bombs that did not go off and detonate them. Within hours of this morning's explosion, Spain's newspapers were on the streets with special editions. The headlines say that this is the worst terrorist massacre in Spanish history, and they're calling today our 9/11. The bombs traumatized a city that has seen nothing like it in its modern history. Volunteers offered to donate blood and to help at emergency centers. One rescue worker says they have been performing amputations and treating survivors for massive bleeding and for hysteria. The Prime Minister and King Juan Carlos addressed the nation to condemn the attacks and to promise to find the culprits. The Spanish people themselves honored their dead with a minute's silence today, and this evening thousands gathered in the city center to grieve. Charles Glass, ABC News, Madrid.